Welcome to our special live coverage of the ongoing Ukraine crisis. Turkey's top diplomat says Ankara will pursue diplomatic efforts to arrange a ceasefire in Ukraine. He expressed hope that Russian President Vladimir Putin will meet Ukraine's Volodymyr Zelensky as a step toward peace. Kowalski made the remarks alongside his Russian counterpart Sergei Lavrov following talks in Moscow. The Turkish official is set to visit Ukraine next as a NATO member works to mediate the conflict. Now, for more on this, we're now joined on the line by Dr. Cengiz Tomar, who is a professor at Marmara University in Istanbul. Welcome to our show, Professor.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Now, first up, Professor, Turkish Foreign Minister said, he called for a stop to the conflict, and he proposed the idea of a meeting between Vladimir Putin and Zelensky. I mean, although Lavrov says that there's no obstacle to such a meeting, how likely, in your opinion, is this going to happen?
I don't think so very likely soon, because you know that Zelensky accepts this idea, but I don't think the President Putin accepts this idea, because according to his speech, now everything is going well according to him and well planned. And I think in recent times he doesn't accept any meeting with Zelensky. If he accepts the meeting with Zelensky, some problems in Ukraine, I don't think he accepts right now, but maybe in the future it's possible.
So basically you're saying that the moment is not there yet. A follow-up on that, Professor. The Turkish foreign minister is busy traveling in both Moscow and also Kiev. I mean, what do you expect him to achieve during this trip?
Actually, he tries to, make a ceasefire for political negotiations, diplomatical negotiations as NATO country and neighbor country for Ukraine and Russia. As you know, we have good relations with both of them. Also, the war affects us very bad because of the tourism, economic, and other relations with both countries. And also another, immigrant crisis started even in Turkey. Now we have some Ukrainian immigrants after 5 million Syrians. That's why Turkey tried to make a ceasefire between countries for negotiations, for the time, to make time. Even our President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, maybe more than 30 presidents and prime ministers talk about Ukraine and Russian crisis. Though I think the first step to make a ceasefire for innocent people, and after that to make negotiations to table.
Well, Professor, thank you for helping us understand, the economic impact of this Ukraine crisis on the country of Turkey. I mean, Professor, explain to us what does it make Turkey a good choice for being a mediator in this crisis?
As you know, Turkey, is both neighbor countries, and we have good relations with Ukraine and Russia, more than maybe 20, 30 years. Especially with Ukraine, we have some good relations for, for army things and some engines related to Turkish army. And also we have, agriculture relations, tourism relations, and economic relations with both countries. And that's why Turkey, President Erdogan and also Çavuşoğlu can speak with both presidents. Personally, he is a friend of them. That's why it's a Turkey good choice in the Black Sea region. And also, we are not far away like United States and other countries as a neighbor. And Americans will leave, such as Afghanistan and Syria. We will be there in the Middle East and the Black Sea region. That's why I think we are the best, mediators between Russia and Ukraine.
Now, Professor, let's move on to take a look at the military and security ties between Ankara and Moscow. In 2020, Turkey went through U.S. sanctions over its purchase of Russia defense system S-400. Now, Turkey is undergoing, immense international pressure over to, calling it to stop its purchase of Russian weapons. I mean, how do you see, things unfold on this front? Would Turkey be able to, to live up to the pressure?
I think, yes, we have some pressures, not just for, army things, but other things as well. For our economic relations with Russia is good. That's why we have some problems with EU and NATO. But up to now, they couldn't deliver us their promises related to F-35 and Patriots and others. That's why Turkey had to get, S-400 from Russia. And I think up to 2030, Turkey will make its weapons, such as, fighters and other things up to that time. Turkey need a little bit time, but if there are a lot of projects on Turkey related to Russian, arms sales, and Turkey try to get from them. If they don't deliver us, they don't give as they did in the past. Turkey have to do something else with Russia. Turkey is an independent country, and they can do whatever they want.
Now, Professor, moving on to the negotiations, Russia said on Wednesday that a neutral status for Ukraine with its own limited army, similar to Austria's, was being considered as a compromise in peace talks with Kiev, while Ukraine spoke of outside powers guaranteeing its security. First up, Professor, Turkey is a NATO member since 1952. So what do you think such agreement, if it materializes, between Ukraine and Russia would mean for NATO countries?
Actually, if you look at from the point of view of Ukraine, it's okay. Maybe they can accept. I don't know whether Ukraine accept or not. But the point of view of NATO doesn't like this situation, because NATO's aim to circulate Russia from south. Such as Bulgaria, Romania, and other countries, Poland, and also Ukraine is very important, very critical, strategic, geostrategic point. I think it is not good for NATO, but NATO doesn't want to accept. But Ukraine, if it has any chance, maybe they have to accept this thing. And Turkey, for Turkey, is the most important thing that the ceasefire and the innocent people's life. That's why if Zelensky or Ukraine accept this offer, and for Turkey is good as well. But for NATO, I think this is not NATO's interest.
Now, Professor, let me follow up on that. You just said that the neutrality of Ukraine, which I just mentioned, will not be accepted by NATO. Then also NATO previously said that it is not going to accept Ukraine as a member of the organization. So what does NATO want?
Actually, that's a very good point, very good question. Actually, we have a lot of experience with NATO, with the promises and deliveries in Turkey in history. That's why I can say that NATO wants to circulate Russia from the south, but at the same time doesn't give support to Ukraine. They don't send any fighter jets, any army to Ukraine, but they try to use Ukraine for their interest. This is not good. I think that's why in Turkey we don't trust United States and NATO a lot. We have our past experiences. I think Ukraine is living the same experience with Turkey right now. But this is Zelensky and Ukraine. Ukraine is an independent country and democratic country. They should decide, not NATO decide on the name of Ukraine and Ukrainian people.
Indeed. Ukraine has every right to choose its own foreign policy. One more question, Professor, before we let you go. If such agreement, as I mentioned, the neutrality of Ukraine is materialized, what guarantees, what specifics do you think Russia and Ukraine will want from each other?
Actually, I think Ukraine wants from Russia, to take all the army from Ukraine soil. But at the same time, Russia wants from Ukraine not to be a member of NATO or European Union. This is, I think, both two things are very important. Other things are details.
Well, we'll see whether this neutrality thing will become true in the future, because we haven't really heard from Vladimir Putin about his attitude on this. But thank you, Professor, for talking to us. We previously talked to Dr. Cengiz Tomar, who is based in Istanbul. Thank you for talking to us. Well, moving on, my colleague